Effectively, the Federal Reserve is trapped. And the reason it's trapped is because the consumer price index, which came out recently for the month of February, that is, well above the inflation rate that they are targeting of 2%. So the CPI came in at 2.46%. That's before the war. Clearly, there'll be an energy factor going into the next number, so that number should probably go up, going in the wrong direction for the Federal Reserve to cut rates. So they probably won't cut rates this time, and if we look at the dot plot going forwards, probably it will indicate less chance of having a rate cut in the future. The inflation measure that the Federal Reserve looks at is not actually the CPI, which is 2.46, but actually something called core PC, that's Core Personal Consumer Expenditure Index. In November, that was 2.8%. In December, it was 3.0%. And in January, which is the latest figure, 3.1%. So that rate of inflation, which is the one they actually watch, is rising. So very hard to cut rates with a rising core CPE. Next release of core CPE will be for the month of February, and that will be announced on the 9th of April. So there's quite a lag between the time the core CPE comes out and when it's announced. So 3.1% and rising. As far as the economy is concerned in the United States, it's slowing. That's kind of reflected by the GDP number which came out. It showed that the fourth quarter had a large drop in GDP, which was over 4%. It's now down to 0.7%. So definitely a slowing of the economy there. As far as debt is concerned, it's hurtling towards $39 trillion. And the Office of the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, the CFRB, came out and said that we're in a debt spiral, and by 2031, the interest on the government debt will exceed economic growth. I'll just click over to that so we can have a quick look at what they had to say. So this is the Committee for a Responsible Budget. Let's just have a look at some of these headlines that they've got. I think we'll look at these ones here. The 12-month rolling deficit is 1.6 trillion in February 2026. They estimate, the Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the deficit was 1 trillion for the first 5 months of fiscal year 2026, which starts in September. So that would be, or starts in October, I guess. October, November, December, January, February. Yes, that's those 5 months. They spent 1 trillion more than they gained in taxes.
Clive is raising concerns about a major shift happening beneath the surface of global financial markets, and the signals are hard to ignore. Across the world, government bonds are being aggressively sold off. Yields are rising sharply, even at a time when geopolitical tensions and uncertainty would normally push investors towards safer assets like bonds. This kind of behavior is highly unusual and is being seen as a serious warning sign that something deeper is breaking in the system. At the same time, stress is beginning to show in private credit markets. These are areas that don't always get mainstream attention, but they play a huge role in financing businesses. Now, some funds are starting to limit or gate investor withdrawals, a move typically associated with liquidity problems. When investors can't easily get their money out, it often signals that the underlying assets are under pressure. The fear is that this is just the beginning, with conditions expected to worsen in the coming months. Then there's the Federal Reserve, which appears to be in a difficult position. Inflation, particularly core PCE, remains elevated at around 3.1%, making it risky to cut interest rates too soon. At the same time, keeping rates high continues to strain the economy and financial system. In other words, the Fed is stuck, unable to ease without consequences, and unable to tighten much further without causing damage. Meanwhile, U.S. debt continues to climb at an alarming pace, moving toward $39 trillion. Even more concerning is that the cost of servicing this debt, interest payments, is now growing faster than the economy itself. This kind of trajectory raises long-term sustainability concerns and adds to the overall sense of instability. Are you curious about investing in gold and silver but feel held back by fear or confusion? This ebook is designed especially for new investors who want clarity, not complexity. It breaks down gold and silver trading strategies in a simple, practical way. No jargon, no hype. Why wait? Hurry up. Please visit this link to get your copy today and use code DUNDEEPLE for a huge discount. More than 1,000 people took the first step with this ebook, and today they're living proof that smart investing changes lives. Start investing fearlessly, wisely, and with a clear strategy.
I'm here to give you an update on the financial markets, the global markets, the economy, and the war. Now, just to preliminary, I'm not taking any sides here. And I'm also not giving any investment advice. So if you hear me say anything, don't take that as investment advice. Let's just start with what's going on with the war before we get on to the financial markets. We're on day 18 of the war. No, it's day 19 now of the war. It started at the end of February, so we're 18th of March. That means that it's the 19th day of the war. The war has changed from a situation of surgical strikes to now a war of leader decapitation and assassination. The Straits of Hormuz effectively are closed, at least to Allied shipping, due to the Iranian threat, although Scott Bessent has said that they are allowing Iranian oil tankers heading to India and China to get through. So that's kind of odd when you've got the Iranians not allowing Allied shipping to go through, but the Allies allowing Iranian shipping to get through. But anyway, that's the situation according to Scott Bessent. We've had a blackout in Russia being widely reported. I don't know if it's true, but it's come from lots of reputable news sources. But basically it says there's been a kind of test of the Great Russian Firewall, which we've never heard about before. It's kind of a test for how they shut down communications in the event of any dissent or uprising. There have been some rumors of internal stability.
Do like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon for more updates.